In April of this year, 2002, I was approached by Kathy Rogers, who's the other presenter, and she contacted me either through my agent or my office. I forget, but she got in touch with me and basically said, are you familiar with Junkyard Wars? Yes. Would you be somehow interested in doing a show like that with me, co-presenter thing? She sent me an hour of Full Metal of Junkyard Wars for me to watch her and that fellow Tyler, and so I could just see the basic thing they do. And I watched it and I'm like, I could do that, and she seems really cool. And so I said, yeah, I'll take the meeting. So we got together in LA for an hour, and she showed me the storyboards of all these games. And she says, it's all life-size, real vehicles driving into this stuff. And what do you think? I said, looks amazing. Sure. The first time I walked out onto the set was several weeks ago with Kathy. I came out here on a non-shoot day just to kind of walk around it and get my head around the whole thing. And I was prepared for something large because even on the storyboards, on the sketches, I knew it was going to be vehicle size. But nothing really prepares you for the size of this and the games that go on inside the cooling towers like Pitball and Sumo and bumper cars. It is epically huge, and the lighting inside is amazing. And just being underneath one of those cooling towers and looking up is a view in itself. Yeah, I really like the game Sumo because it decides who's going to win for the whole day. And it's always cool. And now that we've gotten from the semifinals down to the finals, the vehicles are, they are the vehicles who can like cut the mustard, and the good drivers, and they've all done the show before, so they know that game. So it's not so much just hurry up and hit the guy. They're using strategy and they're pursuing each other. So the game turns out to be really amazing. And the last several days, the winning vehicle has been really killing the losing vehicle, like driving up over it. They got to pull the guy out before he gets crushed. It's been really amazing. You feel for the drivers. Well, I feel for the drivers because I know without a doubt in my mind I do not have the bottle to do any kind of driving like that. I go to the supermarket. I drive on flat and very straight streets. So you see these guys go on the roller coaster, like straight up and then straight down. You just wonder how they're just... I always try and see a facial expression inside the helmet. Nothing. They're just like wired in there. And I don't think I could do it. Everyone's been really good. But there's some of the teams that have this charisma where, they're just really fun to be around, like the Chilean team, the Desert Pumas. Are just, these three guys with this really beautiful little vehicle called the Marabunta, the Angry Ant. And they're just really funny. I mean, we took them into Wetropolis the other day, and one of them put a snorkel onto his helmet. And I said, what's your strategy to get through this? He says, I'm going to hold my breath. I mean, these guys are really funny. And they're just very up-spirited. And we had some American teams that were just like really loud and fun. And a lot of the English teams are just really funny. They have this great sense of humor. The Chinese team, the Flying Horses, it's really wonderful people. You're really rooting for them because they're just so happy to be out of China, in England, doing this amazing thing. And, they flipped their car in the roller coaster, yet they came back to win the night. It was just a great story, so you're rooting for them, and there's these wonderful people. A lot of the teams have taken losses very well because there's two losers every day. There's the first team that loses after the third event. They get their car thrown into this thing here, and they get dispatched by yours truly. So Kathy, our other presenter, she's the nice person. Well, you had a good race, whatever. Then I run into frame and go, whatever. Your car stinks, and now I'm going to burn it up. And I say something, kind of mean-spirited and fun to that effect. And so they've got to smile through it. And the other day we had the American police officers here, and I did a whole thing. I am the law, and here's what happens when I step away from the vehicle. The thing blows up. And for a second there are three cops. They're not used to being told what time it is. And I'm yelling at them at the top of my lungs, like, I am the law. And they're like looking at me like, oh yeah? And then for like 10 seconds, maybe they were like fooling with me. I was like, I'm only kidding. And then they're like, ah. And so everyone's been kind of, funny like that. Where I've dispatched some of the teams and like they're waving goodbye to the vehicle, like they're not letting me take the air out of their sails. Getting to write my own stuff, because all these links I just wing it. I look at what the writer did. I went, okay, they need to get from that to that, so then I do the thing, and I go and ask into my headphone Julia, my boss. Well, one of my many bosses on this show. A lot of bosses, all chicks. The thing that attracts me to this show, now that it's pretty much all wrapped up, is that there's great human storylines to it. In that if I was the producer and I had to whack together an hour out of what gets shot all day, it's kind of an easy job in that the little car's been beating the big car, and the team from the little countries beating the big Western teams. There's just a lot of Samson and Goliath stuff going on. And the girls are beating like big macho guys, and that you see this big slam bang sumo thing, and this shapely blonde girl pops out of the top of the car and goes, "Yay!" You're like, get out of here.